Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. I am out today on the LiveWire Del Mar, and it's such a nice day out today that I thought I'd take a ride over to Western Honda up in Scottsdale, Arizona, and see what new Hondas they have in stock. There's a couple models that I'm keeping an eye out for because I am starting on a search for a second bike. I've just run into too many limitations with the LiveWire, so I think I need a second bike to do all the stuff that I can't do on this one. So because I plan on keeping the Del Mar and just getting this new bike as a secondary bike, I'm keeping my budget under $10,000. So I'm pretty limited. I do still have a pretty good selection at that price range, but there were a couple that I've had in mind for a while. Not sure if I'm going to get either one of them yet, but definitely in the running. And the first one is the Honda CB650R. One of the reasons that I'm interested in the CB650 is that it's a 4-cylinder, and I've never had one of those before. And also the E-clutch. Really interested in trying out one of those. I kind of like that feature because you can run it in automatic mode, or you could do full manual. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, you know. I've had a Honda NC750X before, which was a DCT, or Honda's dual clutch transmission, and while it was pretty smooth, it was still a little bit clunky, and sometimes it would shift when you weren't expecting it to, like in the middle of a turn or something like that, and it kind of throws you off. Even when you're used to it, it's just a little bit weird. A couple other things I really didn't care for about the DCT was that you couldn't really feather the clutch, so you always had to drag the rear brake if you were doing like parking lot maneuvers and slow speed stuff. And probably the last thing was the parking brake. So when you would shut the bike off, it would default into neutral, which means it could just roll around. So if you're putting it on a trailer or something like that, it could potentially roll a little bit and fall over. So you've got to put the parking brake on. Not really a big deal, just a little bit annoying. So I much prefer a full manual bike over a DCT after owning one of the DCTs. But I think the E-clutch would be really, really cool. All right, so the other bike that I'm thinking of getting potentially is the Honda Transalp. Now, I've got my reservations about it. There's a couple things like the tubed tires. I would much prefer tubeless. I don't think it would be a big deal, especially since it's the second bike, and I'd still have this one for like my around town and daily commute stuff. And then I'd have the Transalp so I could go out on longer weekend rides, which is kind of what I'm missing right now. And the nice thing about that, as opposed to the CB650, is that I think the storage options on it, and you know, kind of the fact that it has a windscreen and stuff, would probably give me a little bit more opportunities. It would be more different than this bike. I think that Honda CB650 is too similar to the Del Mar. The only thing I'd really be gaining is extra range on that thing. So I kind of want something that's a lot more different than this one if I'm going to get a second bike. So that's kind of where I stand on that right now. But the E-clutch is not available on the Transalp. So if I want to experiment with that, then that's pretty much my only choice right now. I did talk to somebody over at Western Honda, and they do have a 2024 Transalp in stock, so at least I can kind of get a feel for it. That's not really the model year that I'm interested in, because they just updated it for 2025. I guess there are a lot of complaints about the suspension and like the windscreen and stuff like that, so there were a number of things that were changed for 25 actually. Kind of weird that they would do a refresh that soon after releasing a bike, but it's kind of cool that they're listening to their customers, though. Yeah, I heard they did something with the dash as well. So something about the way it's laminated or something, so that the text looks clearer and the backlight is brighter or something. I'm not too sure about that, but they definitely did something with it.
Phone disconnected.
All right, I'm gonna go check it out. Well, I am so glad that I came here today, because they actually had both bikes that I was looking at. So I got some information on the bikes that I'm considering, and I'm pretty sure that I just made up my mind, because the CB650R doesn't feel really comfortable for me personally to sit on the thing. The pegs are actually pretty aggressive. So even more so than my previous bike, I had a Suzuki GSX 8S that was fairly aggressive. You know, my legs were pretty tucked up, but the CB650R, my legs were way tucked up on that. Unfortunately, I couldn't get any video of me sitting on the bike. It was very busy in there. But, and I'm by myself today. But let's just say that, to me personally, the Transalp was way more comfortable. Kind of sucks though. I was really interested in potentially checking out one of the e-clutch bikes, but who knows, maybe I'll have access to one of those for a demo ride at some point, or they'll come out with another model with that feature on there. I'd definitely be interested in trying that out at some point. So while I've been doing my own research on the Honda Transalp lately, I've been trying to find out, you know, I know what features that they changed out between the 2024 and 2025 model years, but what I haven't been able to find out is if or when the 25s are going to be available in the US. A lot of times there are differences between the US models and what the rest of the world gets, and you know, I think this might be one of those cases with the Transalp, you know, with the 2025 model. It would be really nice if it showed up here, but you know, the dealership told me that they still consider this 2024 model, you know, a brand new model. So this is the only one that they have available. It's the only one that they know of. They haven't heard anything about any 25s coming into stock at all. So I might have to just assume that if I want to get one of these in the next year, I'm probably going to have to go with the 2024 model and just be comfortable knowing that there's a nicer version of this bike out there in the world that I just might not have access to. I think it would probably be fine though. I've heard a lot of good things about that bike. So yeah, let me know in the comments if anybody out there is interested in the Honda Transalp or the CB650R. What do you think about either of these bikes? And they're completely different from each other, so it's not like I'm comparing those two directly. Just kind of curious what your thoughts are of each of those bikes. You know, is there something out there that might be comparable to one or both of the models that I'm considering, you know, buying as a secondary bike? Is there something that you could recommend that I might not know about? Be greatly appreciated. I'll definitely look into them and do some research, see if it might be something that'll work for me. At any rate, I'm glad I got out on the bike today. It's a beautiful day out here in Arizona today. And I got to do some more research. Saw both of the bikes that I was considering, so it's a good day. Anyway, that's all I have on this video, guys. If you liked the video, please click that like button, and I will catch you guys on the next one.